Tyson people talk shit too. There's certain people that are just crazy.
Joe Rogan slams Jake Paul for backing out of Mike Tyson. Fight Joe Rogan isn't holding back after Jake Paul officially canceled his much-hyped fight with Mike Tyson. Rogan, who's been closely following the drama from the beginning, had even approached Jake face-to-face weeks ago to warn him, don't bite off more than you can chew. But true to form, Jake brushed it off, mocking Rogan and even lumping him in with Tyson, calling them both old and washed up. Fast forward to now, Rogan's prediction has come true. The moment news broke that Jake was pulling out, Rogan didn't mince words. "I can't believe this kid is backing out after all that talk," he said, visibly frustrated. And really, who can blame him? Jake had been hyping this fight relentlessly, positioning himself as fearless, only to withdraw at the last minute. But this might just be the beginning of Jake Paul's problems. Sources say Mike Tyson has hit Jake with a massive $350 million lawsuit, adding legal heat to the already smoking wreckage of this canceled event. We'll break down the lawsuit details soon. But first, it's clear that Joe Rogan's warning wasn't just good advice, it was a prediction Jake should have taken seriously.
First off, Mike's hit Jake with a $350 million lawsuit.
But Joe Rogan didn't stop at just expressing disappointment. He laid into Jake Paul with a scathing critique. "This move is going to haunt Jake's career," Rogan said bluntly. "He missed a real chance to prove himself." According to Rogan, backing out now doesn't just hurt Jake's reputation in the boxing world. It damages his image with fans who believed the hype. The buildup was massive, and by walking away, Jake has made himself look like he couldn't handle the pressure of stepping into the ring with a true legend. In Rogan's eyes, Mike Tyson isn't just another opponent. He's the ultimate heavyweight icon. And Jake's retreat, after all his trash talk, sends the message that when it came down to it, he wasn't ready for the real fight.
That Jake Paul would survive against the Mike Tyson.
Joe Rogan didn't just voice disappointment. He sounded the alarm. He stressed how monumental the challenge was that Jake Paul had just walked away from. "You don't play around with a legacy like Tyson's," Rogan warned. He emphasized that Tyson's skill, experience, and raw power are not something any fighter, especially a young upstart like Jake, should ever underestimate. In Rogan's eyes, Jake had walked away not just from a fight, but from an opportunity to prove he belonged in the ring with the greats. Rogan's comments didn't just stir the pot, they shook the boxing world. Almost instantly, public opinion shifted. Fans who had once cheered Jake on began turning against him. Social media lit up with criticism, with many backing Rogan's take. The excitement for what was billed as an epic showdown quickly turned into frustration. Jake Paul, once seen as fearless, now looked like a showman who talked big, but couldn't follow through. But Rogan's rant wasn't just about calling Jake out. It resonated deeply across the boxing community. It drew a sharp line between celebrity, hype, and real sportsmanship. Rogan's message was clear. Facing a legend like Mike Tyson demands respect, humility, and guts. Traits Tyson has in spades, and traits Jake, Rogan argued, seemed to lack. As the dust settled, it was clear Rogan's words had left a lasting impact. Jake's decision to cancel the fight became more than just a scheduling issue. It became a defining moment in his career. A reminder that in boxing, talk is cheap, and actions speak volumes. And then came the practice match. The so-called warm-up between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson wasn't just a sparring session, it was a ruthless wake-up call. Sources close to the session say Tyson didn't hold back. Even at 55, the former heavyweight champion unleashed power and precision that stunned everyone watching. Jake? He was left completely shaken. What was supposed to be a light exchange turned into a nightmare. Jake reportedly suffered multiple concussions, proof that Tyson's legendary power hadn't gone anywhere. The young fighter was outmatched, outclassed, and left reeling from the reality of what he was stepping into. After the session, Tyson reportedly smirked and said, "That was just the warm-up." A chilling comment that hinted at how brutal the real fight could have been. Rogan later commented on the sparring session, calling it a brutal reality check, and adding that Jake's injuries were the consequence of arrogance colliding with legacy. Jake Paul may have built his brand on confidence, but when it came time to back it up against a legend, the truth hit hard. Literally. In the end, the canceled fight didn't just stain Jake's record. It sent a loud message. In the world of real boxing, you don't fake your way through the fire. You earn your place or you get burned.
I think that Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back when reflecting on Jake Paul's withdrawal, especially after the brutal practice session with Mike Tyson. He emphasized that stepping into the ring with a seasoned warrior like Tyson requires far more than confidence. It takes respect, discipline, and a real understanding of the fight game, Rogan explained. Jake's sparring session with Tyson proved just how unprepared he truly was. That session turned into a harsh reality check. What began as a light practice quickly exposed the massive gap between a living legend and a rising star still trying to find his footing. Tyson, even in his late 50s, dominated with the precision and power of a true master. Jake, despite all his bravado, was overwhelmed. The sparring didn't just highlight Tyson's enduring prowess, it spotlighted Jake's inexperience and lack of readiness. Rogan's commentary echoed what many boxing fans were already thinking. Legends like, Tyson should never be taken lightly. And while it's true Tyson isn't in his prime, pushing 60 no less, his performance in the ring with Jake proved he's still a force to be reckoned with. Aging may slow the body, but it hasn't dulled Tyson's instincts or raw power. That day in the ring, Jake found out the hard way. The aftermath wasn't pretty. Jake reportedly began experiencing serious symptoms shortly after the spar. Persistent headaches, dizziness, trouble focusing, far beyond the usual post-fight bruises. According to close sources, he was rushed for medical evaluation, and the verdict from his doctors was clear. Your brain needs time to heal. No fight is worth long-term damage. For someone who built his brand on confidence and trash talk, pulling out of the Tyson fight wasn't just a tactical decision. It was a deeply personal reckoning. This time, Jake wasn't trying to save face. He was trying to save his health. Rogan, ever the voice of reason in the chaos of celebrity boxing, backed the move, with conditions. You've got to prioritize your health. Tyson's not a joke. But you also can't hype something like this and just disappear, he said firmly. He stressed that health must come before hype, but also called for accountability. Rogan's remarks underlined how critical the situation really was. This wasn't just an embarrassing exit. It was a potentially life-altering moment. Jake's decision, though humbling, reflected a maturing fighter beginning to understand the brutal realities of the sport. He learned the hard way that boxing isn't just about talk, it's about survival, respect, and knowing your limits. Still, the story doesn't end there. Despite the seriousness of Jake's injuries, insiders hinted they weren't catastrophic enough to completely cancel the fight. Which raises the question, why the sudden retreat? Some speculate Jake saw the writing on the wall. Maybe that savage spar with Tyson made him realize he was in over his head. Maybe he was already looking for a way out. And then came the bombshell. Mike Tyson hitting Jake with a $350 million lawsuit. We'll dive into the lawsuit details in a moment, but meanwhile, Tyson wasn't slowing down. In fact, he was doubling down, training harder than ever with coach Rafael Cordero, staying in beast mode while Jake was left on the sidelines nursing injuries and second thoughts. One thing's for sure, this fight might be off the table for now, but the drama surrounding it is just heating up.
I never saw anybody who looked like Mike Tyson in his prime. I think you can't maintain the kind of focus that was required to be this guy.
Everyone had the same reaction after watching Tyson's training sessions. Poor Rafael. The legendary coach took a stray punch during one intense round and walked away with a busted lip. Just watching Tyson in action was enough to make people wince, but seeing even his own trainer take damage? That said everything about the raw, untamed power Iron Mike still carries.
We cannot talk about 57 years old. He does movements that kids with 20 or 21 years old cannot do. He does. Movement that people with a young age cannot do. So I can measure 57 years old with 20 years old.
Tyson's power and precision were no joke. His training sessions made it crystal clear. He wasn't just preparing for a fight, he was preparing to dominate. Joe Rogan, ever the realist, didn't hesitate to give Jake Paul a much-needed reality check. Jake, this is no walk in the park. Tyson still has that legendary punch, Rogan warned, his voice sharp with concern. He wasn't just speculating. Rogan knows Tyson's history, his knockout power, and exactly what kind of danger Jake was walking into. But Jake, in typical fashion, stayed cocky. The overconfidence was there, louder than ever, despite all the warning signs. Rogan could see it. Jake was playing a dangerous game, treating a fight with one of boxing's most feared legends like it was just another viral event.
Today was the day, Play with fire, sometimes happen.
Jake Paul continued to boast, brushing off concerns and advice from seasoned pros. His bravado made it clear. He didn't fully grasp the magnitude of what he was stepping into. His overconfidence stood in sharp contrast to Mike Tyson's intense preparation and Joe Rogan's sincere warnings. While Tyson trained with focus and determination and Rogan offered hard-earned wisdom, Jake seemed to treat it all like another headline-grabbing event. Then, just when the tension around the fight had reached a boiling point, another major twist hit. Mike Tyson was forced to postpone the bout due to serious health concerns. This wasn't a strategic move. It was a medical necessity. During CTO, a flight from Miami to Los Angeles, Tyson experienced a severe ulcer flare-up that required immediate medical attention. Reports from his camp confirmed the incident, and doctors ordered rest and recovery. For all his toughness and legendary status, even Tyson wasn't invincible. Still, in classic Tyson fashion, he didn't cancel the fight. Despite the very real health scare, he chose to postpone, signaling his deep respect for the sport and the commitment he had made, not just to the match, but to the fans. "You don't just cancel a fight if you've committed to it," Tyson's camp stated, reinforcing his dedication to the boxing world. The news sent shockwaves through the community. Fans were worried about Tyson's health, but also deeply moved by his determination. Support poured in from all corners of the boxing world, and while the postponement disappointed many, it only increased anticipation for the rescheduled showdown. The stakes now felt even higher. Meanwhile, Jake Paul's response to the situation took a very different tone. Rather than showing sympathy or patience, Jake dismissed the match altogether. "Now I'm not fighting him. Destiny doesn't want it," he declared. "First I got sick. Now he's got health issues." The reaction was immediate and mixed. Some saw it as Jake trying to duck out of a fight he no longer wanted any part of. Others, more forgiving, chalked it up to the mounting unpredictability and pressure surrounding the event. Still, compared to Tyson's grit and Rogan's grounded insights, Jake's response felt abrupt and self-serving. What had once been a clash of generations was quickly becoming a clash of values. Respect versus ego, legacy versus spectacle. And now, with the fight hanging in the balance, the world watches and waits.
My promise to the people is on July 20th, Mike will be put to sleep and he will feel my power, and I will go down as the man who put Tyson to sleep for the last time.
Tyson's decision to postpone the fight instead of canceling it outright was a testament to his professionalism and deep respect for the sport. His health scare was real, an ulcer flare-up serious enough to demand immediate medical care. But even then, Tyson made it clear he was still committed. His choice to step back, recover properly, and return when ready spoke volumes about his discipline, character, and integrity. In stark contrast, Jake Paul's reaction felt more like an exit strategy. Rather than showing concern or solidarity, he appeared to seize the moment as an opportunity to step away from the fight altogether. The difference between the two couldn't have been more clear. Tyson, the seasoned warrior, stood firm in his commitment, while Jake, the flashy newcomer, seemed to be searching for the nearest off-ramp. But let's be honest. Do you really think Mike Tyson is going to let Jake off the hook that easily? Hell no. Speculation has been running wild. Many believe Jake's sudden change of heart is fueled less by medical issues and more by a growing sense of fear. After all, Tyson's recent training videos have been nothing short of terrifying. Raw power, lightning-fast combinations, and a level of focus that can shake even the most confident fighters. Those clips didn't just show a legend staying active, they showed a predator preparing for battle. Observers couldn't help but notice the change in Jake's demeanor. Gone was the cocky trash talk, replaced by carefully worded statements, and a noticeable lack of eye contact whenever Tyson's name came up. The reality of facing a true icon, one who still hits like a freight train, seemed to be finally sinking in. Then came the twist. Jake Paul suddenly announced he would now fight Mike Perry instead of Mike Tyson, calling it a thriller fight. The announcement felt like a calculated pivot, a way to salvage momentum while stepping away from a potentially career-ending bout. And while Perry is no walk in the park, fans were quick to point out the obvious. This isn't what we were promised. It's not the clash of eras. It's not the spectacle that had the whole world watching. It's not Mike Tyson. And you better believe Tyson's watching all of this, waiting, and not the least bit amused.
Obviously, devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, gutted. We've been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp, and I just feel bad for everyone involved in this.
Don't forget to like the channel, subscribe, and press the bell icon to stay updated with all the latest content.